Blog Talk Radio.
Great Thursday evening. Welcome to the Anthony and B Flyy show, right here on Vibration Radio. Tonight, we have a special broadcast with 6 wonderful young ladies. They created a project together. Let me say that again, together. The title of that project is called Just Between Us. We will discuss that and competition among African American women. So sit back and relax and enjoy another great show.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Anthony B Flyy show. I'm your host, Anthony, alongside my wonderful and great co-host, B Flyy, who stays fly 24/7. What's going on, B Flyy?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing great on this Thursday evening. I almost said Sunday. I'm confused. How you doing this evening?
Oh, man. I'm doing great. You know me. I'm trying to get stuff together, but everything is good to go. So all I have to do is just get on the road. Well, both of us have to get on the road tomorrow. So I'm good. I feel good. I got a lot accomplished. I didn't think I was going to make it in time, but I did. So cause I didn't want to miss this show because I think it's going to be a great show. These 6 women that we got coming on, and so I think it's going to be great.
Oh, yeah, it definitely is. And just to give our audience a little background, we had Selena Haskins on our show, I don't know, somewhere between a month or two, and she brought so much energy with her interview and gave a lot of insightful information for authors and stuff like that. So she contacted us and wanted to come on with a new project she's working on with 5 other young ladies. And, I mean, we was most definitely intrigued because in my opinion, it's hard to see when you have a group of women who all are successful come together and do a project, you know, together, basically. So I was really intrigued with that. I can't wait to get them on to talk about this project and also to bring attention to the issue about how some African-American women always like to compete and talk about each other. So we're going to talk about that and a lot more on today's show. But first what I'm going to do, I'm going to individually introduce everybody, give everyone an opportunity to promote individually what they do. And we're going to start off with Selena Haskins. Selena, pretty much, she told us before she's a big fan of basketball. She told us how she used to beat men in basketball growing up. And she also talks about her writing and how her writing is her morning cup of coffee and her favorite chocolate dessert and her evening escape. So without further ado, and I'm actually reading her book right now. It's a great read. I think I'm like on maybe 231. It's a great read. I'm not going to tell too much about it, but I'm reading her book as we speak. But without further ado, let's get Selena Haskins on. How you doing, Selena? Selena? Did I lose? All right, we'll get back to her. B-Flyy, you still with me?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, cool. All right, we'll get Selena to shit, come back on in a minute. All right, well, we're going to keep it on rolling. We're going to get the next young lady on. Let's see. Let me see. She says she's still muted. Okay, hold on. Where you at, Selena? Selena, you're not muted. Selena? That's a bad connection there. We're going to try Tina in a minute. I'm going to introduce Tina. I've been able to befriend Tina on Facebook and see a lot of her work as well. And she has a lot to offer to the table. So without further ado, we're going to get Miss Tina Brown live. How you doing, Tina?
I'm doing just fine. How are you this evening?
Great. While we wait on while we wait on Selena, tell everyone about yourself.
Well, my name is Tina Brown. My pen name is T.M. Brown. I haven't been writing as long as some of my team here that you see for this project. My first book was called A Life Not My Own, and it was published back in December of 2012. And actually, the book is based on a diary that I kept in different formats over the years. To be exact, almost 12 years. The book is a memoir that basically captures a lot of the challenges and crazy stuff that I did as a young woman. When you started this show today, you called us all young women, and I'm happy to hear that.
He doesn't want to get beat up. Anthony doesn't want to get beat up on the show, so he got to stay on.
A nice way I don't get called that very often.
Oh, wow.
Wow. So, I met the other ladies through Facebook and Twitter and a number of other social networks, and with the guidance of Selena, we decided to put this project together called Just Between Us. My contribution to the project is basically a continuation of A Life Not My Own. When I published that book, I was not able to get as specific as I wanted to because there was a lot of stuff I hadn't shared with my family. So you'll get a little bit more from me in Just Between Us. And in addition to that, I recently, in the last three weeks, published Struggles of the Women Folk. And that's basically a short story based on stories that my grandmother told me growing up. Little bits and pieces that I created characters and a storyline around.
Great. Sounds great. So I think we got Selena back again, so let me see if I can get her on. Selena, you there with us?
Hello?
Hey, you trying to hide that voice?
Hey.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Doing great. How you doing?
Trying to act shy. Now, you know good and well. You are family on the show now.
Who is that talking?
B. Flyy.
Hi, B. How are you?
I'm good.
No, Anthony doesn't like me anymore, so he decided to press the mute button. He didn't want me to say anything explicit on the show, and I told him I don't do that. We just had that talk about reality shows. I'm not going to talk about it no more. He said, okay, I'm going to unmute you now.
Okay, that's a good way to work. That's a good way to bring yourself in. I like that. So Selena, although you've been on our show before, give our listeners just a little bit of your background and a little bit about how this all got started before we bring we're gonna bring Janice on next.
Oh, okay. I'm Selena Haskins. I am the author of A River Moves Forward, which was published in February of this year, February the 16th. And it's receiving great reviews on Amazon. Right now I'm working on a sequel titled Riding the Waves. So if you think A River Moves Forward had drama, you better buckle your seats for Riding the Waves. That's all I'm going to tell you. Because I'm really putting it out there. And
wow.
I'm not sure, how much you guys have covered so far. I think I heard kind of like the tail end of what Tina was saying about the collection project that we did called Just Between Us. So that's a new release now, and it's available for free. So I know everybody's penny pinching right about now with this, whole government thing going on, but look, this is free. So people can go and download it on Smashwords. There's a file available for your Kindle, iPads, iPhones. All you have to do is just create a username and password, and the collection is yours.
Oh, okay, great. Wow, great. And thank you for sending me my copy, PDF. I appreciate that.
Oh, you're welcome. Oh, yeah. And if anyone is interested in a PDF copy, you can send any one of the authors an email, and we'll be happy to send you a PDF version. My email address is Selena, SELENA, at CaliDreamPub.com, CaliDreamPub, as in Peter, UB.com.
Great. Okay, well, moving right along. This is something new for us. We've never showcased 6 people at the same time, but it seems to be going in a great fashion. The next young lady, Janice Ross, I've had a chance to also see her on Facebook quite a lot. She follows a lot of my work, and I've been following quite a bit of her work. Let's get Janice Ross on. One second. Okay, Janice's debut releases was entitled Damaged Girl. She uses the 3 books in that series to detail the effects of different forms of abuse, discusses issues that are known to be taboo. So without further ado, let's take this opportunity to bring Miss Janice Ross on. How you doing, Janice?
I am well. Thank you so much for having us today.
Oh, no problem. The pleasure is all ours.
Yes. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I hear you great.
Hi, Janice.
Hi, how are you doing, B?
I'm good.
Okay,
It sounds like you guys are real playful and silly when you're not on air. Is that the truth, or I'm just picking up a wrong vibe?
I'm sorry, what was that?
I said it sounds like you guys, when you're not on the air, like you guys are real playful and silly. Like you have a great friendship.
You know what? We know how to have a good time. I think, actually, we communicate throughout the day, and pretty much at any time we're sending each other messages.
Mm-hmm.
So because we can bounce pretty much anything off of each other, and I love that. You know, when I can find people, because I don't have too many girlfriends, but when I can find people that I gel with, oh my gosh, I appreciate these women so very much. They've been blessings in my life. Yeah,
we appreciate you too, Janice.
Oh my gosh! I know at any time of the day I can send a message and I'll get a response from at least 1 or 2 people. So, hey, it's great.
That's great.
We keep having to open up different threads because we communicate so much.
Wow. That's great. That's a beautiful thing.
I know, we can't keep up. It's like, oh my goodness, are we on number 5 with the conversation we started?
Yeah.
It is amazing.
Yeah,
that's great.
It's great. Mm-hmm.
Well, Janice, take this opportunity to talk about your work individually before we bring Adrienne on next.
Okay. All right, great. Yeah, I love what I do. I love writing, and I love networking with people. Damaged Girls 1 was released in December of 2012. Damaged Girls 2 was released in April of this year, and the 3rd book should be out within another month or so. And but in the meantime, I released a novella to my island hopping series. It's called Jumping Ship. I was born in Guyana, South America, and I wanted to showcase something that kind of showed Guyana and the Caribbean, not really what people know about, because, you know, we know about the fun and the sun and the beaches and everything, but I wanted to show a bit more, a bit of the history of of the people from that area, and kind of throw in a bit of a love story and so forth. So that's what the island hopping series is going to be about. Now, our collection that we released, Just Between Us, it was something different for me because it was the first time I actually put out anything personal about myself. And the women were so very supportive everyone was so supportive of me, and I love that. You know, I am a strong believer in the sisterhood and in supporting each other, and I get so much of that with these women.
Mm-hmm.
And
likewise.
That's
yes,
great.
yes.
And we definitely want to elaborate on that a little bit later throughout the show, because like I'm really impressed on how you guys are so successful individually, but you guys are able to come together and accomplish this project. So that's like really what intrigued me and Flyy. Well, at this time we're gonna take another opportunity to bring on Adrienne Thompson. And what impressed me about her is that I see she was formerly a registered nurse or RN, and she now writes and publishes her stories full time. So I definitely want to hear about that. So without further ado, let's introduce Adrienne Thompson. How you doing, Adrienne?
Hi, I'm doing great. How are y'all doing?
Good.
Hi, great. Welcome.
And I know y'all can tell really quickly that I'm from the South. So you don't even have to say it. I know I have an accent.
Hey, Adrienne, you know what? I'm not from the South, and Anthony and B was like, where are you from? The last interview. I said, I'm from D.C. I guess in their minds they was like, I don't know what D.C. she's from, but they don't sound something like that there to me.
Yeah, Adrienne sounds like my family, so I could definitely rock with Adrienne. She sounds like some of my family members.
Yeah.
Well, Adrienne, take this opportunity and tell us your story.
Well, I'm Adrienne Thompson. I grew up in Arkansas. I still reside in Arkansas. I worked as a registered nurse for 12 years before I quit to write. But I started writing and started publishing my work in 2011, and I published my first book, Blues Day. And I like to say that I write stories from the soul for the soul. They're basically fictionalized reality. And I have a heart for broken women, and I write about the things I believe in, which is healing brokenness and love. And evidently the stories have resonated with people because I can do it full time now. But just between us, my piece was the first thing I've ever written that was nonfiction. But anything I write, I try to bare my soul and my heart and put my all into it. And sometimes I write it and then I go back and read it and think, maybe I shouldn't have written it, But I mean, I know if I know it'll help someone, because that's my main goal for writing was to be therapeutic for myself and to help other people.
Yep.
Great. Outstanding. Okay, well, we're going to move right along and get Nicole on and see me pull her information up real quick. Nicole is a guidance counselor. I got so many bios at once. I hope I'm introducing everybody right. Nicole is a guidance counselor, and I believe she wrote Miss Nobody and Miss Scandalous, if I'm not mistaken. So no further ado, let's get Nicole Dunlap on. How you doing this evening, Nicole?
I'm doing blessed right now. How are you?
Great.
Welcome.
Hey, Nicole, Selena.
Hi, Selena. I'm so glad to finally speak on the phone with everybody.
Yes, likewise.
We've been passing notes and stickers and little cartoons.
That's correct. Hey, Nicole, it's Tina.
And just working on each other's emotions and building each other up. So it feels good to actually get to speak to people.
Exactly. So you mean to tell me y'all never spoke on the phone before?
No.
I think I've spoken with
everyone.
Oh, wow. Now that's even more amazing.
I talked to Janice and Tina. That's how I first met them, because Janice hosts cultural cocktails on Blog Talk, and Janice had a show, so that's how I met Tina that way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's how I got on the field with Janice too, because Janice is a little quiet right now, but she can talk and get people together. I have a question. Janice, I need some help. And then she's really helpful. My series is the Shaw Family Saga, and it's 3 parts: Miss Nobody, Miss Scandalous, and Miss Perfect. Miss Perfect just launched this past September, and it's doing really good on Amazon's bestsellers list in mystery, and it's currently free today and tomorrow. But a little bit more about my stories is they're based on characters they're based on real people that I come to meet, like young teen girls that are going with the worst. They have the worst boyfriend in the world, and other kids that are just raised wrong. So it's more about dysfunctional families.
Okay, great. Okay, we got our last young lady coming on. Tamika, she talks about going to law school, juggling a family and her full-time job, and attending law school. And she said for her, writing provided that outlet. And I'm sure all of us as writers can relate to that. Her novel, Anytime Soon, is the thing that she created while she was in law school. So let's, without further ado, get our last special guest of tonight, Miss Tamika Thomas. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are everybody doing?
Well, doing great. Welcome.
Tamika.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on the show tonight.
Oh, no problem. Anytime. Like I said earlier, I'm real intrigued. You know, Selena came on a couple of months ago and brought so much energy to our show. It felt like family. Me and Flyy had a great time. And when she told me about this project, I guess for me, I was kind of like, okay, yeah, all right. But then when she actually sent me all the information, I've seen, how wonderful you guys seem to gel and the career of each one of you guys. And then for y'all to come together and do this project is more than an honor for us to have you on the Anthony and Flyy show.
Well, thanks for having us.
No problem. So, Tamika, real quick, just give us, your individual accomplishments as a writer or anything that you really want to talk about, really.
Just really quick, my novel, Anytime Soon, was published in July. It is my first real piece of work that I've done. I'm really proud of it. It is about a family. It relates to real people and kind of things that everybody relates to, and that's really what I was going for. When you read the book, that you can pick somebody out of there that you know or love or have loved, and it kind of gives you a warm feeling, and it gives you the idea that we all are imperfect, we all make mistakes, but we can all overcome anything. And so it's just a little bit of family, a little bit of drama, a little bit of fun in there, and it seems to be doing really well. I'm proud of it. It does take a little bit more time for me to kind of promote and get out there while I'm working so much, but I'm excited about it, and I'm really excited about this project that Selena invited me on to. I met her on social media, and she was just so wonderful and welcoming and full of energy, and she's like, I'm doing this project, would you be on board? And so I just thought it was wonderful, and I think all the ladies are really wonderful and talented, so I just appreciate being able to be a part of it.
Great.
Thank you guys so much, too, for being a part of it.
Great. Flyy, you still there in the mix?
Yes, I am. I am outnumbered today. I just don't know what to do with myself.
Speaking at the club, she like, it'll come on in like 7 minutes. But it's scandal in a good way.
I know. Well, hello, ladies. I'm Flyy, since y'all didn't hear. But I think this is awesome. I think it's awesome that you guys connected through social media, because a lot of times people don't realize the connections that we can build through social media, because that's actually how me and Anthony met. I was actually doing my own show. Anthony was doing his own show, and we connected, through our online radio shows, and then connected through Facebook, and we've been stuck together ever since. But I mean, it's just amazing what can come from just meeting people and just seeing all you ladies from different parts of, the states and different parts of the world. But I've noticed a unique common interest you guys have. All of you guys have really created. I was listening to the titles of the books some of you guys have released, and they're really uplifting and encouraging and motivating books. And so it sounds like a natural bond that you ladies have as far as, getting that out there, as far as the encouraging message and those uplifting messages. So I think it's fantastic. I wanted to ask, who was the head leader in this? Like, who decided, I want to do this. And how did you guys connect? Who wants to start first with that? I don't know who wants to take that one.
Hey, is it crickets on the phone? They're probably saying it's you, loudmouth. Okay. And you can tell I already had my call drops already, right?
You're right.
Here's what happened. I give credit to Janice because Janice had what was it, the end of summer book giveaway, Janice?
Oh, the end of summer book bash that we did together.
Book bash. Janice had end of summer book bash where she invited several authors, right? So we all contributed to this giveaway bash. And it was so successful. I mean, we had was it over 1,000 people, Janice?
Oh my gosh, we had quite a few people. I can't even remember at this point, but quite a few people that entered the giveaway. Yeah, it was really, really good. Everyone was very supportive as well. Mm-hmm.
So through this giveaway, what happened was it allowed us to really see the talents that each one of us had individually. And I always wanted to put together a collection of inspirational stories, but I just kind of felt like it would have more, spontaneity, so to speak, if there were different authors to contribute, their real life experience, and not just a book of all of my experiences, because I think readers will get bored at some point. But I just wanted to do a collection that's never been done before, and I should say that because I haven't seen no book out that's like ours to date. And, these ladies were willing to share their personal stories. And so through the end of summer book bash, I networked with some of them. I met Tamika on Twitter, and then I called her in to invite her because I've read her book Anytime Soon. I've read Adrienne's work. I've read Tina's. Everyone that's on here, I read their work, and I love the way that they write, and they were willing to share, their personal story. And I said, let's keep it at, maybe a limit of 3 pages or something like that, and we'll each edit each other's story so we don't have to pay an editor, So we kind of rotated it like that, and Adrienne designed the cover. We took a vote on it. Janice had a friend of hers named Karen to format the book for Smashwords, and Karen is with, Lion Art Publishing, Janice?
Yes, Lion Art Publishing.
And we just need to give her a shout-out because she's squared away. She is amazing.
Yes, she is. Yes, she is. A wonderful, wonderful person.
Now, what's the young lady name? I'm sorry.
Her name's Karen Perkins. She's with Lionheart Publishing.
Okay, great. Okay.
And actually, she's in the UK, and even though she's, so far away, she's more responsive than some folks that are right around the corner.
Amen.
Indeed.
Amen. I'm gonna tell you, Karen is great. She was a big help with this project. So yes, definitely, I agree with Tina. Props to Karen, and we're still working with her on our own personal various projects. But
Absolutely.
Karen is the one who helped to put the book out there for us on Smashwords to make it available for free to everyone, and I really appreciate that. So, but yes, everyone contributes to this project. Everyone. So, and we just kept like Janice was saying, the threads on the Facebook kept getting so long, we had to keep split the topics. But we finally, we finally nailed it. So hopefully it's a collection that everyone will appreciate.
Okay, great. Okay, so the question I have is, I didn't get a chance to read it. I'm sorry, but I am going to read it. I have the PDF. I don't know if you was on when I said I'm still reading your book, Selena. I'm into your book now. I'm 200 and some pages in. But that's a great read, by the way. That book be cracking me up. That love thing you put in there, you know what I'm talking about? That's hilarious.
You said the love thing?
Nah, the love glove. When you said the love glove.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's hilarious. I had to read that like 2 or 3 times. Like, wait a minute. Love glove. That right there cracked me up for a while.
That's an old school thing.
I just said, right, y'all gotta go buy the book. So I just gave everybody a nice little snippet right there. But can you tell us about your project? I want to hear from Nicole. Nicole, can you kind of give a brief description of Just Between Us for what it meant for you being a part of this book?
Well, it meant so much to me that I almost didn't do it. It's so personal. I'm not a really personable person. So mine is called Falling for the One. And basically I talk about my history, how I've met the worst man in the world and had a child by him. And it's just something that baby mamas can understand, various days and colors. And so then I'm falling for a guy who's now my husband, and I'm like, he's too perfect. I need to figure out how to get rid of him. I don't know why I wanted to get rid of him, but he was just too good to be true. So I'm going down my list of pros and cons and trying to figure out if we're compatible. And then towards the end, I'm dealing with issues, and my home caught fire. And he was really there to support me, and my daughter was only 3 years old. And I just fell deeply in love with him, and we were going to church and bringing God into our life. And come to find out, the story is about me falling in love with God and God being the one.
Great, absolutely. Okay, Tamika, I want to hear from you. What does this project mean for you?
It was really personal for me also. When she asked me initially, I was a little bit nervous about doing it. My story is a little bit different because it is about losing my mom and what that meant for me. And so it's been really painful, number one, for me to talk about to people. And when she asked me, one of the things about being an author now has caused me to kind of come out of my shell, because I am not very open and I'm not very personable either a lot of times. And so it forces me to kind of be social and social media in other areas. And this was one more stepping stone for me. And I thought, okay, this is hard for you. This is very emotional for you, but you should do it. And so when I decided to do it, it was just really emotional. I mean, I don't think I wrote a day that I didn't cry every time I wrote, but it just felt really good to get it out there. And it really inspired me to kind of expand my mom's story, and I think I actually am going to. So it was just wonderful to be a part of it with these talented women and to put my own story and put my feelings out there and kind of just take one more step in growth in life.
Wow. That's a great testimony. That's great. Adrienne,
Tamika, real quick, I cried when I read your story, too.
Did you? Oh, my gosh, I cried so much. I was writing it. It was so hard.
It was really powerful.
Thank you.
Tamika, when I read your story, I teared. As a matter of fact, the minute that I started reading it, I started crying because now I'm just an emotional person as it is. But the minute I started reading it, I'm like, oh my gosh, no.
I know.
I sensed what you were writing about right away. So.
Wow.
Yeah, but you know, when things like that happen, you try to count it as joy. And, you know, she's gone, but I've learned so much, and I move forward. And like I said in the story, you try and keep a little bit of that person with you every day, and you try and move forward. So writing this story actually helps me more than you guys will ever know. So I really, really appreciate you pulling me into it.
Absolutely.
No problem.
That's all right.
I was able to relate to actually relate to you as well, Tamika. It was certain things that you touched on, like about, you know, being small for what it means to, like, you know, have a personal relationship with someone, because like you were saying, your dad raised you And I grew up with a lot of uncles and brothers, somewhat of a disconnect, you know, because I was like a tomboy growing up into sports and all those things. So I can relate to Tamika on that in her story, you know. So, definitely check it out.
So Ms. Adrienne, you know, what was the most important part about you being a part of this project?
It was a chance for me to share part of my journey that I hadn't really shared with many people, and it was just a relationship that started out wrong and ended up a lot worse. So it really my main goal for sharing that was to show anybody else that has gone through the same thing of being young and making really silly decisions based on past hurts. You know, you're already hurt, and you would think you'd be a little careful, but you start making even worse decisions. But I wanted other women to know that they're not the only one, because when you're doing stuff like that or you're going through that, you think you're the only person in the world that knows what it feels like. So I just wanted other people to know, no, you're not alone. You're not the only one that's gone through this, and you can survive it. You can, you know, move on and do better, and it's what I've done. So.
Wow, great. Tina, I want to hear from you. What does this project mean for you, Just Between Us? I love the title, by the way.
Yeah, it was just an opportunity to kind of share a little bit more than I had already put out there with A Life Not My Own. You know, when I published A Life Not My Own, I didn't really give it a lot of thought in terms of what the response might be, what people might think, you know, and there was still a lot that I left out. So I was already starting to put together, you know, a narrative that hopefully would turn into book 2. So when this awesome group of ladies approached me about, you know, contributing to a book where we would be inspiration to other women who probably are going through the same things and really don't understand why they're doing what they're doing, maybe they would get some encouragement and understanding from, you know, our experiences. And honestly, since the book has been out, I have received multiple, you know, responses through social media of other women who say they found themselves in the exact same situation as what I wrote about.
Wow, great.
Hey, Anthony, Janice Tina came up with the title of the book, too.
Oh, really? Just Between Us? Okay.
Well, it kind of, I don't even know if I can take credit for it because, you know, a lot of things come to me from the Lord, you know. I'm just laying in bed and I'm thinking about different things and all of a sudden the title comes to me, just like it did with my first book.
Great.
And Adrienne added on the part, inspiring stories by women. So Tina came up with Just Between Us, and Adrienne came up with, you know, inspiring stories by women. Like, you know, so you just wouldn't have, like, Just Between Us. You know what I'm saying? You have, you know, something catchy afterwards.
Okay, wow. Janice, I wanna hear from you, Janice, then Selena, and then give it over to Flyy. I know she has something she want to add. So, Janice, what does this project mean for you?
This project, actually, my story was written a while back. It's entitled Love Letter to Jedi. I wrote this a few years back. It's about an experience that I had. I lived in Jamaica for a year and a half, and it was a very difficult time for me. And I write about abuse and mental abuse, physical abuse, and so forth. And every time, I think just about every time that I've read through this story, or even when I was writing it, I cried. And even right now as I'm talking about it, I'm getting kind of flustered because it was a very difficult story for me to write, and it's even it was even more difficult to share. And I think even before I sent it. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's oh my gosh. Yeah, so I talk about just a bit of what I went through, and you know, there is a bit of love to it, but then there's a lot of darkness as well. And you know, and I know that for me, in the situation that I was in a country that I didn't have any family, and I was there with, you know, I have two sons. I was there with their father, and, you know, I was pretty much set apart and locked away from my family. So it was very difficult for me, and it was a very low point in my life. But I wanted to show that no matter how depressed, no matter how low we might feel, there's always room to go up.
Yeah.
You know? And, so that's where I wanted to show where I came from. Not to say that's where I started at, but through my own bit of stubbornness, everything, that's where I ended up. And I could, you know, kind of laugh at it now because I'm no longer in that situation. But, you know, I just wanted to show that there's always a way out, you know. And it's something that I haven't really shared with anyone, and not even my family really knew everything that I went through. So being able to put it out there, I'm hopeful, you know, that it could help someone, you know, or just I think one thing that we all wanted to show is that none of us are perfect, you know. We're, you know, we each have our own bit of everything that we deal with, you know, even within ourselves, you know, and we wanted to show that we were all relatable. And I think that's one of the things that make us click so much, because we recognize that we're all human. You know? And and that, to me, that's probably the most important thing. I didn't feel, even in dealing with the young one, I think I said to Selena, oh my gosh, I'm getting ready to send it. I was having, I think I was getting headaches. I was sweating.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, I'm going to send it out. And, you know, and I wasn't sure. I'm like, oh my gosh, people are going to judge me. What's my family going to say? You know, and everything. And just the feedback has just been so great, and everyone has just been so supportive, you know. So, you know, because I think for someone that's been in that situation, I've heard a lot of, and this is without anyone even knowing what I've been through. I'll hear people say things, when they hear about people in abuse, they'll say something along the lines as, oh, well, why didn't she just walk out of there? Why didn't she just leave? And it's not that simple, you know. And,
absolutely.
Yeah, so I'm sorry. I didn't ramble on, so I'm going to stop myself from talking.
No, that's fine.
I've been trying to bite my tongue.
No problem.
No, Janice's story is really emotional, though, for real.
Yeah, breathtaking. I lost my thoughts. But Selena, okay, I want you to talk about, again, I'm going to give it over to B-Flyy, because I know she itching to say something. I know she is. I can feel it. Okay, I feel you, B-Flyy. Give me a minute. I feel it. But Selena, for you, what does this project mean to you? I know you had just about the same amount of effort that Janice had as far as bringing everyone together. So to see all this click the way it is, and then just for me personally, to know that this is pretty much some of you guys' first real conversation on the phone or something like that, that to me is impressive by itself. But outside of that, what does this mean for you to have this moment right now and to have the point where you guys wrote that book together?
Right now, I feel like we have connected through our experiences, and it just shows that, you know, we as women, we go through different things, different trials and tribulations, but the common bond that we share is the emotions, like the emotional pain or sadness or anger, you know, all of that wrapped up into one. And this platform that you allowed us to be on tonight, to actually hear the voices behind, the women that I talk to every day. Like Janice said, we talk almost every day, and we're sharing publishing ideas, writing ideas, critiquing each other's work, giving, tidbits of something we learned, something new we discovered. And I'm going to tell you, the publishing industry, especially for indie authors, it can be kind of selfish, and you can feel like you're in the world by yourself. And for me personally, that's how I felt. I only had one book out there, and I just felt like I was in a bubble by myself. But having met Janice, Tina, Adrienne, Nicole, Tamika, I don't feel like I'm alone in this industry anymore. I felt like through this collection, even before this collection, like I said, when Janice and Adrienne put together the End of Summer Book Bash, I felt like we were starting to connect then, and I just feel like we're even more connected now that we have shared something personal about ourselves. Just like each one of them said, we didn't want to do that because, you kind of feel like an open oyster to the world. It's one thing to write fiction, because nobody knows what's real or what's fake because they don't know you. But when it's something personal, you feel like there's a different type of judgment that may come up, because it's you, not your story. You know what I mean? It's you versus that a story you wrote that's fiction, so to speak. And for me, with telling my story, it was, I had my own set of emotions as well. I had my reservations and things like that, but I used to keep a journal, about the different things that I would experience. And that was just something recently that I had gone through. And my experience is what a lot of women go through as well. We multitask all the time. And what happens is you get to a point where you burn out. And sometimes people don't understand the word no. And it's really that simple when you're saying it, but it's harder to do. It's harder to do as women. And so that was my message in a personal story that I told, is that we really do have to say no in the sense that we're saying yes to ourselves, in the sense of knowing where, hey, look, I need to take a time out. I need some me time, as they say, But collectively, I think the collection is awesome. I think the women all over the world will enjoy this collection. All women will be able to relate to it, no matter what race they are, no matter where they live or what their economic status may be. I think a lot of women will be able to relate to each and every one of our stories. And I can't thank these women enough for trusting me with their stories, first of all, and, to put it out there like that. So I just want to say, ladies, thank you so much for, offering yourselves in this way. And, the feedback that we have been getting individually and collectively is truly a blessing. We have blessed others with our experiences.
See, now you're going to make me cry, and I'm not one to just cry real quick,
I'm glad somebody said that, because I'm sitting here texting B-Fly now like, man, I'm about to cry.
Well, I can cry at the drop of a hat, but, yeah.
B-Fly, go ahead. I know you got some questions.
Huh?
B-Fly, you there?
Did you lose
Did we
her?
lose her? I might
I'm
have.
here.
Okay, there you go. Cool. What's up, B-Fly?
Okay.
What you got for us?
Yes, no, I was saying everybody's getting so emotional. I don't know if y'all know, but I'm about to be a mother, so this is just, I'm over here like, okay, keep it together. Keep it together.
Congratulations.
B.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's crazy because it's like listening to you guys, it makes me think of one of my favorite movies, Women of Brewster's Place. Because all those women in that story, in that movie, and in the book, you know, they had their own personal story, and you know, everybody brought something very different to the table. And so I wanted to ask you, ladies, because everybody pretty much said, you know, man, I really didn't want to share this part, but I did it anyway. So I wanted to ask you, ladies, why do you think that, just talking about women here for a minute, because it does affect men as well, but for women, why is it hard for us, even when we go through challenging things, to speak about it? You know, we might talk about it amongst family members, and some family members may not even know some of the things that we've been through. So why do you think it's challenging for us as women to, you know, open up and show that vulnerable side of us and to say, you know, hey, I've been through some things too? Let me start with Tamika.
Hello?
I'm sorry. I'm here. I'm sorry. I think sometimes as women, we tend to be nurturers, and we take care of other people and people around us. And sometimes it renders us, I know for me, it makes me feel vulnerable to talk about what hurts me or what makes me afraid, because you have so many other people that rely on you and depend on you. Now, in an intimate one-on-one with my sister, I mean, she knows all of what I feel and all my issues and problems. But when you get into a public forum the way we have and share your intimacies and your pain and your hurt, it's completely different. Because like someone said earlier, that why didn't you leave, or why didn't you walk away? Well, why don't you just say no? Why don't you just not answer your phone? And for everybody, it's a personal struggle. We all have different reasons for why. But I think just that feeling of being vulnerable and saying, this is me, this is how I am, and these are my many, many, many flaws, accept me, I think that's really hard to do when you're a mother and a sister and an employee and sometimes a supervisor. You wear all these hats, and then you have to turn around and admit to your vulnerabilities.
Absolutely. Anybody else want to take a swing at that question?
This is Tina Brown. For me, it had to do with the way that I was brought up. You know, my goal coming out of a childhood like I had was just to blend. I didn't want any attention drawn to me at all. You know, and any issues that I was going through, I kept that motto about, you know, don't hang out your dirty laundry, you know. And so that's how I kind of live my life. And so when these situations came my way, I kind of just dealt with them internally and not share it with anyone.
Right. Wow. Anybody else want to?
This is Adrienne. I think for me it would be fear of judgment. Because and a lot of people are going to read mine and they may judge me because mine involves dealing with a married man. So that would be the main thing for me. Just knowing that some people who thought they knew me may look at me a little differently now. But I mean, It's all good. It's over.
But it did happen. But see, the thing, Adrienne, now, you know, that particular situation, a lot of women are dealing with right now. So your story, you know, can perhaps encourage somebody else to get out of the situation, you know, because I've come across a lot of women, even through social media, who are dealing with those same issues that you wrote about yourself. So it is going to be helpful and beneficial to somebody.
Yeah. Now, if I may, I want to add. If I may, I want to add something while it's on my mind. Because for me, as I was beginning to transition as far as helping myself, and I was talking about men dealing with depression and men being more accountable when it comes to relationships and marriages, I had no idea that I was going to all of a sudden be like a spokesperson for this. Like, you know, almost every interview I do, that's what they want to talk about. So I see now, I haven't had a chance to read the book yet, and I definitely will, but I see, like, you guys are sharing so many intimate stories, and, you know, whether you realize it or not, you are inspiring somebody, and you're pretty much going to be like a spokesperson. So how does that make you feel, and how are you going to be able to deal with that when that comes about, if it hasn't already came about? Anybody can take that question.
I think
go ahead. Who's that, Janice? Go ahead, Janice.
It's me. I was just going to say that I think it's important that we show that we're relatable, because I know I think a lot of people, if someone's coming and preaching to you and there isn't any dirt under their fingernails and they just appear to be on a pedestal, then you're going to probably think, well, they don't know what I'm going through. They don't know what it is to deal with this, you know. So if we can kind of reveal, you know, okay, yes, I've been there, I did that, but I got through that, I got over that, you know, then someone that's going through that, I think we could relate a whole lot better than coming at someone, you know, in this perfect manner, you know.
Okay.
I have to agree with all of them. I agree with all the ladies. You know, Adrienne mentioned, you know, fear. Janice mentioned, you know, you still want to be relatable to people. And Tina mentioned, you know, that, you know, you don't air out your dirty laundry. And Tamika mentioned that when you do have a lot of different titles, you don't want to show that vulnerability. So for me, that's me wrapped all up in one. Those were my reservations about putting it out there, because, Anthony, you touched on depression, you know, among men. Women battle depression, too. In my story, I talked about anxiety, actually, because when you are overworked and you're exhausted, I mean, that can contribute to anxiety. And anxiety is not something that people talk about often, because half the time they don't even know that that's what they're experiencing. They don't know why their heart is racing. They may think they had too much coffee or something like that. You know, they don't know why they're sweating or, you know, kind of feeling like they're going to faint or something like that. They may think it's hot in the room. You know, so, you know, for me, and putting my story out there, I just kind of shared that, you know, these are the symptoms of anxiety, you know, that if you're not careful or you're not taking care of yourself, what I went through could happen to you, and I don't want to see that happen to my people, you know, and like you said, man or woman.
I agree with you, Selena, because I think that too often when we're sharing our stories with one another, we kind of speak in generalities, you know, and then for that person that's listening, they're like, you know, okay, but what does that mean, really? How would it look to be, you know, anxious or depressed? What kind of symptoms should I look for? You know, what is it like to find yourself involved with a married man? How does that really make you feel, and how do you get out of it? We need to stop speaking in generalities and give, you know, people some specific ways to get out of situations if needed.
Exactly.
Is that Tina? Is that Tina? I'm sorry. Is that Tina speaking? Okay, and I 100% agree with Tina, because that's exactly what I do when I discuss being with depression, because a lot of times we don't even know what the symptoms are. So the first thing I do usually is I start off by reading the symptoms, because there's 12 symptoms. And then whoever interviews me, I'll post it on their website just so they can have it for reference. But it's absolutely true that the first thing you have to do is know what the symptoms are. I heard Selena mention she didn't even realize, or some people don't realize actually why they're having certain symptoms, and they don't even know where to start. And that is like the biggest problem right there, is recognizing the symptoms and knowing what you have. Then after that, you can start to begin to try to accept the fact that you have an anxiety or you have depression and try to pull your way out of it. So I definitely agree with what Tina just said.
Well, I think, too, that we're not taught to actually seek out help for things like that.
Absolutely.
I know several years back, I actually had to go and see a therapist because I was getting anxiety. and I didn't know what that was. And when I got to a point where I was okay, she finally said to me, my therapist, she cut me off. She said, Janice, it makes no sense for you to come here anymore. Just go find your girlfriends and sit down and talk to them. But I didn't know at the time, before I started going to see her, that I couldn't. It's like you can't get your thoughts in order, and you're doing so much, and you want to be everything, and you don't know that there's help out there. You know,
absolutely.
You have to be like the super person, and you can't show any weakness, and we're not taught, and I've said that to people. I've said to people, why don't you try to go and see a therapist and see, maybe you just need someone to talk to, and it's like, and they give you a look like, what do you mean? Oh my gosh, I would never do that, But it's probably one of the best things that I know for me personally, it's one of the best things that I could have done at the stage of my life, because I would have probably had a nervous breakdown.
Absolutely. I encourage that as well, because I've actually tried counseling as well with me and my daughter, and it definitely helped out a lot. And I talk about that also as well among men, because I know a lot of men don't even want to think about anything, remotely close to a counselor or anything like that. But it is something that you have to consider. It definitely is, because a lot of times what I've experienced with just talking to some of the fellas, and some females as well, that, we just simply want to be heard. Sometimes we don't even want a solution. We just want someone to just listen, just to simply take the time to listen to us. That can mean more than any other treatment or a counseling session could possibly mean, but we don't understand that sometimes. So, I definitely agree with that.
Definitely.
Flyy, I know you got some more questions. Come on now.
I wanted to ask you, ladies, because I think in here we were also going to be discussing tonight just how women in general, we work together, and so I want to get on that a little bit. Why do you ladies think that it is challenging for some women to work together? Because a lot of times you have women who they work together, but they just can't really stand each other. One is trying to bring the other one down, or one is trying to be a little better than the other. So we always, it's like a horse race. Like, oh, girl, she's doing it, I'm doing it. I'm doing it tonight. So why is it that we're always in this competitive field, because it's very amazing that you ladies were able to work together. I don't know if you had any challenges, and if you did, you could speak about that. But I'll start with Adrienne.
No, I'm just kidding.
I'll start with Adrienne. Adrienne, what are your thoughts on why do you think it's so challenging for a lot of women to work in the same field and just uplift each other?
Well, I think that goes to maturity level. I think the reason why we gel so well and work together so well is because we're all have lived life, have been through some things, we're mature, and we're Christians, all of us. So that has a lot to do with it, too. But, you reach a certain level of maturity where that kind of stuff is just so silly.
Yeah.
And, honestly, and honest to God, I don't even have time to be fighting people. So,
I know that's right. I agree with
I'm
Adrienne.
just too busy. I am just too busy. So here's the thing: we're all mature-minded women. We're adults. I'm a grandmother. I'm a young grandmother. Let me preface it. I'm a young grandmother, but I'm a grandmother, and I mean that's child's play. In my mind, once you reach a certain maturity level, you realize. That you don't have time for that. Now, do I look at some people and think, man, I wish I had that? Well, yeah, I do that from time to time, but because that's normal. But I don't. I don't begrudge anybody for having what they have. I just work hard to get what I want. So, but it's just all about maturity, and I think that's why once you reach that level, you don't want to, you don't deal with it that way.
Absolutely. Nicole, I want to hear from you. What do you feel about that?
Well, I've met one author in particular that I tried to help, and she started off being a little complaining, and I didn't know until after we were trying to work together that it was her. I think it's people that, I don't know if it's their environment, how they're raised, or some people just grow up to expect things to be given to them, and that they should just receive and don't offer or help anyone else. So I really don't know, because I'm not on that side of women that just have to fight each other to get what they want. I think that teamwork works the best, and as authors, we're all working together, and there's more readers than there are authors. Maybe your readers will become my readers, and my readers will become yours. So that's how I think of it.
Yeah. Absolutely. Tina, what do you think?
I just feel like, I ain't got time for it, to be honest. We're all out here trying to do our thing, and we come together and try to do something together, and if I run across individuals that seem like they have a problem, with this competitive nature at my age and what I'm trying to do, I don't have time for it. I just keep it moving.
Absolutely. Let's see, Janice.
Yes, that's pretty fun. I actually have a radar, a built-in radar in, and no, I'm serious. I do really well at staying away from that because let me tell you, I try to I love to surround myself with positive people because I try to be as encouraging as I can be. And the minute that I get just that energy from anywhere, and I can get the energy through the computer too. The minute I get that energy,
I can too. I'm with you.
Yeah, and I kind of back out, and I just, and you can pay attention to those things because we don't. One thing that I had to learn, you don't have to be stressed out. You don't have to go through. You don't have to go through anything. You whatever it is that you go through, it's because you allow yourself to go through it.
Yeah.
And I may, if I sense something, I'm going to change the situation. Something that I learned for myself many years ago is to stop placing blame on anyone else for anything that happens. And actually, one of my best friend tells me this, But for anything that happens, it's because you're letting it happen to you. So the minute that you see that there's something that just doesn't feel right, you back out of that. And for the women that I am in this group with here, we gel because we're not about any of that. We're about progression. We're about reaching out to people. We're about helping each other. And I believe that I speak for most of us. If we do sense that something wouldn't be right, then we wouldn't invite someone into our circle if that's the case. And that's how you have to gauge it, because then if you do invite someone into your I'm very particular about my personal space and my personal circle, and if I invite someone into that circle and I'm unsure of them, then I better know that, okay, Janice, you caused this to yourself. So you have to be very keen and very careful about that. So yeah, and like I said, I don't know, you can just pick up on those things automatically.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I need a radar, Janice.
Yeah, but I mean,
maybe you should write a book.
Oh my God, no, it's just there.
That was hilarious too, Janice. Oh my goodness. Y'all have to find a sticker for that, right? It's going to be a radar sticker.
Oh my God. You and your stickers. I can't take it.
Janice, Ross.
No,
but you know what,
you.
B? I'll tell you why this group also clicks as well, is because we focus on the solutions. A lot of times people think about the process, but not the solutions. And sometimes as women, you know, some women may have like a chemical imbalance or hormonal issues or just naturally moody or, you know, and we go through those things. Don't get me wrong, we do. But what the thing is, like Adrienne mentioned too, is maturity. Like Tina said, you know, too, you know, you don't make time for that kind of stuff. And for us, with everything, every project we have done, starting with the book bash this summer, it's been about results. You know, what is it going to take to get stuff done? Who's going to do it?
Right.
You know, and the thing that that's what made me consider these ladies for just between us, for the collection just between us, because I could see that they were about results. And each one of them were willing, you know, to do whatever it took to produce positive results. And sometimes, like Janice said, she doesn't invite certain people in her circle. Then I don't blame her, because all it takes is one bad seed, you know, and to interrupt the whole. And you really don't need that. You need people who are willing to work and willing to get the job done. You know, and each one of these ladies, they were willing. They were like, "What do you need? What's next?" You know, they were just ready, like A, B, C, D, all the in between stuff. You know, it was just like, okay, we just gonna focus on the results. We had our questions in between, well, how we was going to do this and how we were going to make it work. You know, because whenever you're planning something, you should discuss it, and that's what we would do, and that's why we had so many long streams. But in a big picture, we just focus on the results, you know, and that's why we got one of the best collection pieces out there. Yes, I'm bragging, because people need to go get it. It's free, you know, because people they don't want to pay for nothing. Something could be 99 cents if people won't download it. But this is free. This is free, and it's from our hearts. It's from our hearts, and, you know, blood, sweat, and tears, whatever you want to call it, and people need to really go out there and get it, and they'll appreciate it. You know, even if you're a guy, you can benefit from it. Or get it for your girl. You know, she might can relate to it, too.
Wow. So, all of you guys are authors, and it's a question I always like to ask. Feel free, you know, first one to whoever wants to respond. But when it comes to marketing and support, what are your challenges with that, even with this project or your own personal project?
Finding the time. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Who is that? Who is speaking? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. This okay, I was just saying finding the time, because having to. I know for me, I'm not working. I was laid off earlier this year, thankfully, and but even for me, trying to write, I do some reviews. I do my show as well, and then having to market. And marketing is not just, or promoting is not something that you could say, okay, I'm just going to do this for an hour every day. That's not how it works. You know, you have to make that time to reach out to people, to go on the different sites and to go places as well. So it's a lot of work. But one thing that we do, we all help each other. Whether on Facebook and Twitter, and you know, at the beginning of the week, you know, if there's something that one of us had, like for example, Nicole's Miss Perfect is free through Amazon. So, you know, she made it known, you know, can you guys help me to get the word out on this? You know, things like that. We'll tell each other, we'll support each other that way, so that it's, you know, so that at least it helps to lessen the burden a little bit. You know, but we're very supportive with each other, so that helps.
Wow. Great. Anyone else want to take that question?
Well, it's just, as far as marketing, there's a lot of options out there in terms of how to get the word out about your book. Mm-hmm. And as a new author, sometimes we become a little overzealous in terms of what direction we want to go in. So for me, it's just kind of taking a step back, really evaluating, what my options are and choosing the best one.
Okay.
And being persistent.
I think, too, I'm sorry, who's it?
Oh, sorry. This is Adrienne. And just try to be persistent because one thing about being an author is you can't control the outcome of all your hard work. You can't control whether or not a person buys your book, but you just can't. And it's easy to give up. So you just have to be persistent. And if that means persistent, sometimes it does mean take a break for a minute. And then but always come back to it. That's what I've learned over these couple of years that I've been publishing books. Is to just keep going, even when it looks like nobody's paying attention to what you're trying to show them. Just keep going, and you'll reap the benefits eventually.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I learned a lot from Adrienne with that too. Is like Adrienne made the comment once. You don't want to be spamming people. I don't know if you remember that, Adrienne, but really you don't. And she made a good point because you can't make anybody buy anything. They're going to buy it when they're ready to buy it. And but I know
I've had people ask me that. How do you get people to commit to buy your book? I said, well, you can't.
Yeah.
You can't. You just put out the best work you can put out. That's all I've done is consistently keep doing the best I can do and put out my book. And if they get a hold to one, usually they'll buy the rest of them. That's all I can do is just get the word out and hope and pray, honestly,
Right.
But that's a good mindset to have, Adrienne, especially when you mentioned the no spamming. Because I know I'm interactive with a lot of authors online, and sometimes I think like if you throw your book link up one more time on my page, we don't have a situation. If you do this one more time,
that should never be done.
It's one thing when you are aware. And it's one thing when you are aware of what's going on, and then somebody, is constantly just putting it out there, and it's like, okay. And it amazes you to see, like, sometimes people, that's all they do all day long, but yet they haven't sold, like, 5 books in a month, so it's just like...
it's a turn-off. And I tell you, it's rude. If you come to my page and post a link, that's just rude. You haven't even said hello. Why are you on my page posting a link to your book? I don't even know you.
I'm with that, too.
That's a turn-off. That's a huge turn-off.
Oh, yes. I'm with you.
But you know what, too? What Janice mentioned about, like, actually getting that FaceTime in with people, that's important, but it's also important on social media. Like, B, you said you don't want nobody to just keep on tagging to your page. They don't say nothing, no hi, boo, nothing. Posting. Like, I learned that you have to engage people on social media, too. Who are you?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. Talk about things. Those are things that, subjects that can attract people to your book. They might say, dang, she making a lot of good comments about X, Y, Z. You know what I'm saying? And then they might be like, I'm going to check her book out. It may not necessarily be anything you say about your book. It could be something else that you're talking about that just makes them interested in you.
Yes,
right.
That's very...
Absolutely.
What I'm about to do, B-Fly's going to close out the show because I have to get ready to go, but I want to extend an invitation to you ladies individually at the beginning of next year because unfortunately, and it's a great thing, we are book tight for the rest of this year as far as our interviews. So we'll get back in contact with you guys like in the beginning of next year, January, and start setting up some individual interviews to give each one of you guys an opportunity to showcase your career. But I want to personally thank you before I get out of here for taking the time and being a part of the Anthony B. Flyy show. I will get a chance to read this book and leave a review with each one of you guys. I appreciate your effort. Keep up the hard work, and I'll be in touch. I see you guys on Facebook a lot, so I'll definitely be in touch that way.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Anthony.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No problem. All right, be fine. Do what you do. I'll go.
Oh goodness, he left me in charge. I can't believe it. I just can't believe it, ladies. But no, I did. And one of you guys mentioned not being, so worried about when it comes to book sales. But I just wanted to know if anybody on this panel, was they concerned if this project would sell, because sometimes you put a lot of work into things and they just don't move, or at least they don't move when we want them to move. So was anybody skeptical about, is anybody going to read this? Is it going to make any leadway with anybody? And I'll start with Janice.
One thing that I do strongly believe, I don't think that anything happens just because or by coincidence. I think that God was truly in the middle of this. So I feel that if he put us together and he wanted us to work on this for a reason, so he would direct the right people to this project, the right people that needed to be fed off of this. So I didn't feel concerned in that aspect now.
Absolutely. Nicole, what do you think?
Well, I didn't have any concerns. I just want to piggyback on what I said. I just feel God's presence in the work that we've done, and it's all about women, and each story has is helpful for any woman out there. Just helpful as in how we can learn from each other, and being that it's free, I just think it's a powerful asset for any woman to use.
Right. Absolutely. Tina, what do you think?
Yeah, call me crazy, but I never gave it much thought as to whether or not this book would be a blessing to the multitude of readers. I just felt in my spirit, and still feel in my spirit, that it will be, that it has.
Hello.
Are you still there, Tina?
Hello.
Hello. Okay. Who did we lose? Did we lose Tina?
Hello.
I think so. Tina,
hello?
is that you?
Okay. Can you hear me?
We can hear you now.
Yeah, we can hear you.
I'm sorry. I didn't already talk for about 5 minutes.
Sorry.
But basically what I said was, I just felt in my spirit that, this book would be a blessing to potential readers, and I still feel that in my spirit. I didn't give it a lot of thought as to whether or not it would be a blessing. I know that it is.
Right. Absolutely. Tamika.
I agree with the other ladies about things just not happening. I do believe that this project came together for a reason. And I wasn't worried about it not being people being responsive to it or wanting to read it, because as they mentioned earlier, we did edits of each other's work, and it's just, I don't know if you've read them, but just really powerful stories that you can relate to, and that is inspiring, whether you've been through something similar or not. It's just always nice and inspiring to read something that somebody's gone through that was hard and they overcome it. And so even if it doesn't help you directly, even indirectly, when you're speaking to somebody or trying to help somebody get through something, I just think that it's just a wonderful collaboration. And I don't think that it would just happen arbitrarily. And no, I didn't worry that it wouldn't be successful. I think that it's going to be wonderful, and I think it's going to keep getting better. It's just the best that you have to come for this project and for all these ladies who have contributed to it.
Absolutely. Let's see. Adrienne, did I get to you?
No.
I wasn't concerned about it. I looked at this project the way I look at mine. That if it can help one somebody, I'm happy. You know,
right.
I don't think any of us were really concerned about numbers, because it's like it's free, so you expect people to flock to free anyway. But I mean, that's just people love free. So, but if it helps just one person, if it helps one person, I'm happy. If my story helps anybody. And the great thing about it, being published and being in the e-format, is just out there forever unless somebody takes it down. So we don't have to be in a race to get a lot of people to read it right now. It's going to be out there for generations to come, and hopefully we'll be helping people for years to come.
Absolutely. Selena, what about you?
I didn't worry about it because I just felt like it was a story that I had to tell, and I know that the other ladies who contributed to the project, they were willing to put a part of themselves and what they experienced into the project and just pretty much let the chips fall where they may. But, I mean, for people out there who may be listening, I can tell you this much. When it was published, the first day after it was published, we received over 100 downloads. I mean, we're going to be pushing 200 soon. So it's definitely people out there that's downloaded it, like Adrienne said, perhaps because it's free. But you know what? Even though it's free, it doesn't change the value of what went into it at all. And people are going to see that once they start to read it. And they may even say, well, shoot, they should have charged for this. But numbers don't lie. The feedback we've been receiving doesn't lie either. And, that's been the biggest blessing is getting feedback from people. Like Tina was mentioning earlier, people sending her messages, expressing what it has meant for them. So, again, we're blessing people through our experiences, and that's the best thing that you could ever receive. You can't put a price tag on that. You can't put a price tag on changing someone's life. How can you put a price tag on that?
That's true.
So,
That's right.
Everything isn't about dollars and cents. I know people from the outside, they look at numbers and it matters to a certain degree. I'm only looking at the numbers from the standpoint of how far-reaching we are connecting with people in those terms. I'm not looking at it from a standpoint of, making money or anything like that, or otherwise we would have came up with a price.
Selena, I totally agree with what you just said, because on those days, and I think we all as authors have those days where, it's just challenging all the way around for a number of reasons. But on those days, I don't go to my bank account, look at, how much money is in there. I go to, those posts, those encouraging posts that I get from people all over the place saying thank you. That's where we go.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. Wonderful. Before we do get out of here, I want to give everybody a chance to let people know how they can connect with you, if you're on Facebook or Twitter, or if you have a website and all that good stuff, because I definitely want people to be able to connect with you guys, because just being on the phone with you guys, I can tell all of you guys are definitely phenomenal ladies, and I'm going to be on the road traveling, but I'm going to be reading this book while I'm on the road traveling tomorrow to the baby shower. So I'm going to be reading, and I'll definitely give my feedback on the book, and I'm excited to read it. And I'm going to start with, let's see here. We'll start with Tina. Tina, tell the folks where they can connect with you at and all that good stuff.
Well, it's almost impossible not to connect with me. I'm on Goodreads and LinkedIn and Facebook and Twitter and almost a multitude of social networks. But I do have a website, and the address to that is author-tmbrown-com.webs.com. And from that site, you can get to all my books and all the products associated with my books, and get information on upcoming events and photo galleries and all kinds of stuff.
Okay, awesome. So it's no excuse, y'all, for you not to get in touch with Tina, because she says she is everywhere. Okay, we're going to go with Nicole.
Well, I'm all over the place, too. I think we as authors have to be. But my personal website is NicoleDunlap.com. And I love to tweet and write Facebook a little bit and Goodreads. So if anyone wants to look at what I'm reading and talk to me about my books, that would be great.
Awesome. Let's see here. Janice.
Oh, my goodness. I am, okay. I'm on quite a few sites, but I'll give the main ones that I frequent. I am just about always on Facebook, and my Facebook page is Cultural Cocktails, or I can be reached on my Facebook page under my name, Janice Ross, and I'm also on Twitter. My Twitter handle is JGR Writer. That's JGRWRITER. I'm also on Google+. I'm on LinkedIn, and I'm on Goodreads as well. And I do make it a point to check every single site a couple times every day. But I do live on Facebook and Twitter mainly. And if anyone wants to reach out to me otherwise, they can email me. My email is janice.ross@culturalcocktails. So I tried to narrow it down.
And Tamika.
My website is tamikachristy.com, and I am also on Facebook, and I'm on Twitter and Goodreads. And if you go to tamikachristy.com, then you can find my Twitter handle and my Facebook, which is just Tamika L. Christy.
All right. And Adrienne.
Yes, I'm on Facebook. It's Adrienne Thompson. Twitter is 8H Thompson. Basically, if you Google me, you should be able to find me somewhere. And my website is adriennethompsonwrites.webs.com, and you can get on there and learn all about me. And I do want to mention I have 9 books available. So surely can find one to read.
And I live on Facebook. Up on here, 9 books. When she gets to her 10th, we're gonna have to fly out to where she is and have a party.
Oh man! And last but not least, Selena.
I can be reached on booksbyselena.com, and through my website, you can reach me on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and I'm on Goodreads too. But most of the time you can catch me on Facebook and Twitter. And I definitely encourage people to go to my website because I do keep a blog on there. And some of the topics that we covered tonight, I talk about in some of my blogs. So be sure to check it out. That's books with an S by B-Y, Selena, SELENA.com.
Absolutely. And everybody on here is Googleable on here because everybody is all over the place when it comes to the internet, and I think that's awesome. I did want to ask you ladies to, for the women out here who, they have a story, and they want to share it. What are some encouraging words or advice you could give to those, who may, like you guys were, may in the beginning be skeptical about getting that story out there, but, what are some encouraging words that you would give to a young woman, fellow writer or author who wants to put their story out there. And I'll start with Tina.
Well, I guess the one thing that I would say would be to just be true to your story. You know, write it your way. You know, and never give up. It doesn't matter what, you know, avenue you choose to publish your book in. It doesn't matter how many negative responses you may get. Just continue to press on.
Absolutely. Adrienne.
I would have to agree. You just write what's in your spirit to write. My best advice would be don't try to write to whatever the trends are right now, because the trends are going to always change. So just write to what's in your spirit. Write it the way that it is put into your spirit. I often say I start writing it when I'm inspired to start writing, and I start writing when I'm finished. And it doesn't matter to me how many words that is. I just finish when it's finished. And, you know, as Tina said, don't give up. If there's something personal that you're afraid to tell, my best advice to you is that a secret only has power as long as it's a secret. So it's very therapeutic to let things out and to share things with other people.
Absolutely. Janice?
Yes, I think something that I always tell people is that the most important thing to do when someone has a story or wants to share their story, other than me telling them to journal and make sure that they're reading, I tell them to just start writing it. Don't worry about the form, because obviously your first draft is not going to be your final draft. But I tell them to just write, and once you get it written, then you just pray over it and you pray about it and ask God to direct you, because he'll certainly send you in the right direction. He'll even bring the right people in your path, but you have to get that out on paper first.
Absolutely. And Nicole? Did we go to Nicole?
Well, I have a lot of young women coming to me talking about stories that they want to write, and I just tell them to get to it, because you have these thoughts inside of your head and things that you want to do, but the whole thing is if you never write it, you never know. So just having faith in yourself and the ability to start is what needs to be done.
Absolutely. Tamika?
I agree with everything that the other lady said, and one of the things that people said to me most after I wrote my book was, I've always wanted to write a book, and the first thing I always say is, then do it. I just think when you start writing, and I tell people to try and write something a little bit every day, even if I know it can be hard with time, but just writing a little something every day, because it's important to find your voice. And when you write and read back, for me, reading my writing was always key, because I would read back, and sometimes I'd say, oh, my gosh, really? And then sometimes I'd say, oh, that was pretty clever. So I would just say, if you have a story and you want to write it, just start writing it. And over time, and Janice said to pray about it, you pray about it, and as you write, it'll come to you. But you have to first just start doing it and finding your voice and finding what you want to say and how you want to say it.
Absolutely. And Selena?
Yeah, my thoughts are in harmony with the other ladies. I too run into a lot of people that say they want to put a book out and don't know how. And in fact, that just happened to me recently over the weekend. One young lady said to me, I have all these thoughts in my head, but I feel like if I write it, it's not going to make sense. And I said, well, why don't you just start there? She was like, start there. Start where? I was like, start with your thoughts. Just write out those thoughts. It doesn't have to make sense right now. Like Janice was saying, you know, your first step is to just write. And then you go back and make all the necessary changes. But if you never put it out there, no one would ever hear it. And I think someone just mentioned that as well. So just put your best foot forward And B, you know, you and I talked last time we were on the show. You mentioned that you wanted to put some things out. The spotlight's on you. And now is the time, B, because remember I mentioned on the show last time that I wrote A River Moves Forward, my first book. It took me 5 years to write it. 5 years, because it was a lot of stop and go. And, you know, and like Tamika was saying, we all get busy in our lives. So I can only write for so much, you know, according to what was happening. But guess what? I finally did it. So I'm really happy about that. So I would encourage people, no matter how long it takes, just do it. And like Adrienne said, don't get caught up in these trends, because you always want to write the type of stories that won't expire. That's the key. Write stories that won't ever expire or go out of, you know, out of time.
And you know, it just, you know, when hearing about you guys' different stories, I think you guys have actually set your own new trend, because the thing about it is, you know, we do see a lot of common stories. You know, if somebody put a story, you're like, man, I just read something similar. Matter of fact, I know two, you know, where there's New York best-time selling authors who wrote some books, and their books were basically identical to one another. You know, to me, it's just reading them, and I'm like, wow, okay, you know. So, you know, it's very interesting that people do have a tendency to follow that trend, and I'm glad that you guys put that out there. You know, you don't have to go with what's popular at the moment. A lot of times when you set your own path, is when your work becomes even more recognized, you know, because it's not on that same path that everybody else is going. So I definitely can agree with that. And I definitely want to thank you ladies for coming on here and to the Anthony and the B-Fly show. And as Anthony said, we will be reaching out to you ladies to do some individual interviews, because we definitely want to, you know, get your shed some light on all the projects that all of you ladies are working on, and get that out there. So we definitely want to thank you guys for coming on the show tonight, and we definitely appreciate you guys. Anybody have any last words or final comments they want to say?
Don't forget to download Just Between Us. It's on Smashwords.
Yes.
And thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you so much.
And congratulations on your baby.
Yes. Thank you.
When are you due?
That's exciting.
I'm due December 23rd, a little girl. So. Yeah, that sounds funny, me saying that. This is our first child, so it's been a great journey, though. I must say, it really has. So.
Wow, that's wonderful.
Yes, congratulations.
Yes. Thank you. But I did want to tell you ladies that are in the Anthony and the B-Fly group on Facebook, we do like for people to promote their stuff. So definitely get the word out. I promote others' projects, and so does Anthony. So definitely take the time to go in there, put up your links, let people know where they can locate your books and stuff. And I'm definitely going to try to read all you ladies' work, especially while I'm on maternity leave. That'll give me something to do that time. So
thank you.
I definitely will be checking. I will be checking it out, and definitely appreciate you ladies coming on here. I've definitely enjoyed each and every one of you, and I hope you ladies have a great rest of your evening and a fantastic rest of your weekend.
Thank you very much.
You too.
Here.
Thanks, ladies. Thanks, B and Anthony. And it was good to talk to you ladies, too, and hear your voices.
Yes.
Everyone.
Bye-bye. Awesome. So, bye. So, folks, we're going to get ready to get out of here. I want to thank everybody for tuning into the Anthony and the B-Fly Show. And make sure you check us out on Twitter, Anthony B-Fly Show. You can check Anthony out at Anthony B. Collins on Twitter. You can connect with me at Butterfly Show on Twitter as well. Or Facebook, Bianca Fly. And Anthony, of course, is Anthony B. Collins on Facebook. Make sure you connect with him as well. And make sure if you want to be a guest on the show, feel free to reach out to us on Facebook. We'll be happy to try to get you in. As Anthony said, we are booked to the end of the year, but, hey, we're going to keep on booking into the new year. So definitely submit your request, and we'll get you on here. So with that said, folks, we're going to get ready to get out of here. And you all have a great and fantastic night, and thank you for tuning in to the Anthony and the B-Fly Show.